Hope Center's been around for 56 years. We've been at this location. We've been at this location for the last 30 years. We also have a building up on 35th and Holly, which is our vocational program. And we've been at that location for 40 years. That was the old Safeway store, and for some of you that are Denver natives, this was the old Joe Farm Miller grocery store. And you will see a picture of it because it sat vacant for many years in our community. And we are adopted by one city, the previous director, African Americans, and we're going to bring something to this community. And that was quality early childhood education. So we serve about roughly 250 families per year. On a daily basis, about 150. We also still serve adults with disability at our vocational program. We're proud because a lot of us are from this community. Like Brother just said, I'm a native. I grew up right behind the old YMCA, I'm sure you remember that. We still have our family home. My parents have passed, but we have our own. And I'm now a resident for the last 48 years in Park Hill. You can do my age. So this is what I've been brought up to, and I've always been involved with the community. Anytime somebody calls and says there's something for the community, I'm going to open my doors for them, you know. Because it's about coming together. It is about looking at the fact that age group that we serve,
have the N-word painted on some houses in our community.
that's our future.
So we're here at this rally to support community support because painting the N-word on people's
To be
houses is
raised
not
up and
okay.
still believe that we can come together. Because we have been talking about it for years and we have not been successful. We have gained, but we haven't got there. You know? And that's why we see things that happen now recently on film.
We have
Welcome.
the N-word painted
And
on some
anytime
houses.
a
in our
tour or
neighborhood.
coming into the building, we also host
You're
our
out here.
community meetings. Please let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jill Grimes. I just called, I said, Dr. Grimes. She said, okay. And then the next call that I made, I said, you know, when you think about these issues, it tends to polarize between black and white. But it's much more complicated than that. It's not this group did this and this group did that. It's much more complicated than that. And so historically, our community, particularly between black and brown community, has always been one, always been family, and always have been tight. And so in that spirit, someone I've been working with for many years, Cisco, I gave him a call and I said, Cisco, can you please invite the community, bring some unity? So Cisco, can we give him a round of applause to take us into our next?
Thank you, Brother Jeff and the Hope Center. Well, if you don't know me, my name is Cisco Gallardo. I'm the director of GRASP, the Gang Rescue and Support Project. We work in this community amongst other communities. And one of our missions is always to work to build a bridge and unity among black and brown. We face a lot of the same issues in different ways. And it's important that we share our culture with one another. Not just what we see on TV and all that. We like to represent all of you. And so let's go ahead and do what we do. The Eastside Peace March, we always open up.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a window view here.
Ancestral land of the Arapaho people. We want to recognize our Native brothers and sisters too, that they face all the same things we do, and they got their land took much brutal way, like a lot of us, and so we want to acknowledge that. And even in our Mexican culture, Chicano culture, we're indigenous too. But long before that border was there, we just walked across and did our thing. Like Corky says, we didn't cross the border crossed us. And so we're just trying to remember that, and acknowledge that And before I pass it over,
We had the
I asked
N-word
Uncle
painted on the
to be
punch-out
part of
on our
the-
house.
of the
Now we're
community
here
theater,
in a
working
community
with that
support
many
action.
times, many years, you know, we're at the, and then I asked my brother and sister here from Grupo Tlaloc, which is an Aztec dance group, to do an offering. What we're doing is an offering, asking for gratitude for what we have, not what we don't have, but what we have. And there's this, you know, in our culture, there's a hummingbird is a messenger, comes to us and tells us things, you know, about our life and our culture. In Africa, they have a very similar bird, they call it the sunbird though. And that sunbird does the same thing, but there's this story that they talk about where there was this big forest fire. And in this forest fire, all the animals were standing across this lake watching the forest burn. And this hummingbird came, the sunbird came and put its little beak in the water and put it on that fire. And all the animals started laughing at this little bird. They're like, what are you doing? That ain't gonna do nothing. And the hummingbird looks at them and tells them, I'm doing my part. What are you doing? And right now we're the hummingbirds for the community. You know, we gotta spread. We can't let these things come and affect us in a way where we don't want to work together, or we're afraid, or our children ask questions like, why me? Why us? So in that vein, you know, we're trying to strengthen that relationship, that we know love does conquer hate. We know the Creator's love is all powerful. And however you believe, it's powerful. So I would ask Jay right here to come up. Jay Leary.
So good evening, I'll say good evening to each and every one of you, and thank you for coming in here. I don't usually do this, so, they gave me this little whistle here. This is an eagle bone whistle. When we use this whistle, the eagle is the bird that flies the highest up there. So we wanted to take our positive thoughts and intentions, our prayers, whatever, up there so that they listen. We try to walk in a good way. We try to walk with God, you know. So today what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna blow this whistle so that our message will get out there. And when we do it in 4 directions, we're saying we want this whole entire universe. You know, I walked into this place today, and the first thing I looked at, I saw this Say It Loud with Brother Jeff, and I'm thinking 1968. I remember that. It seemed like I was a teenager then, and that's when it all started for a lot of us. You know, it was that something went on up there and says, open your eyes. Okay, we're in 2019. 50 years later, why are we still doing the same thing that we were trying to eradicate 50 years ago? So, I brought my family here today, and of course, my family is the East Side family too. We grew up in Curtis Park area. So, we have this, when I look at the diversity of the city has always been like it is here and here. Black, brown, white, yellow, and every once in a while you see a couple of us Indians running around here, you know, so we're still here, okay? So I'm gonna start this off by blowing this whistle and say a few prayers while my nephew, my niece here, go ahead and do a dance here, okay? Thank you. Okay, God, thank you for bringing us here together. We ask that you look upon this gathering here as we talk about our relatives, our families here. We want to bring a message of peace and hope and love to our communities, not only here, but all around this country, all around this universe, all around these 4 directions that we just asked you here. God bless and watch over this gathering here. As we walk out the door, we want all of our people here to be safe here. We want not only people here, but those that couldn't make it today, those who have good intentions. We also want to pray for those people who do these acts, because at some point, we want them to change their minds and look upon us and say, hey, you know, there's a love here, there's a community here, we want to be part of this community. Bringing hate is not part of our community here. God bless and watch over each and every one that walked in this door here today. Bless all the programs that we represent, bless those people, our families, those elders here that came before us, that set the example for us to be here. We also pray for those who are gonna be coming after us. We want them to have the same strength, the same fortitude, the same attitude for us. We want to thank you, God. Bless and watch over everybody here. Oh, all my wishes.
I want to start off and say good evening to each one of you here, to all my relatives here, to my friends. I want to thank Brother Jeff for bringing us here upon us. having that thought for us, you know. Our mission here is to support community, you know, to let the relatives know that we're all related one way or another, you know. We need to support each other in a good way. You know, we want to thank the Hope Center too for opening the doors. Thank the children that come to this school too, you know, and they have the Creator bless them, you know, each one of them, you know, and that they grow up knowing that, you know, that they're loved, you know, to learn how to love one another that way. And, you know, when I call upon Creator now, God here, you know, to somehow, some way, bless each one of us, you know, that we learn how to get along with our neighbors, you know. That's something that has been lost, you know. I know when I was growing up, neighbors used to take care of each other, take care of our kids, myself, you know. I got out of hand, they slapped me around, you know. On that right road, right? And that's what we're missing, you know, that communication. And that's the most important. So thank you all here to opening your ears and listening to each other, you know. And also don't be afraid to speak out as well. So once again, thank you all. Thank you, Brother Cisco, for calling upon us, you know, on behalf of these. God bless them, you know. It was yours.
Yes.
One more round of applause.
He is built like a god.
Lots of love, lots of love. Again, if you guys are thinking about what is this gathering all about, this gathering is about love beats hate. And so if you came in and you were feeling a certain way because of a certain incident, hopefully when you walk out, you know, you're going to feel the love of community. You're going to feel the love of what's in this room. Because obviously, if you are on the other side of this issue, you wouldn't be in this room.
Amen.
So we've got to share what's in here together. I also called some sisters, call them the Sweet Heavenly Voices. They got another name, but you know. Like, there are individuals in our community that we call on that offer healing as well through song. And so, Carnita Jr., here they come. We're going to kick it off with the Black National Anthem, and then they're going to do whatever is on there.
Just in the spirit of healing, I ask that you stand with us as we sing the Black National Anthem. I ask that you listen to the words of this song and remember the history, the blood, the sweat, the tears that made this song even possible. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with the steady beat have not our weary feet side. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light.
Go on now, go on.
Forever in thy path we pray. Rest our feet straight from the places, our God, where we met thee. Bless hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to our God, true to our God, true to our name, till land, land, land. So, just to let y'all, just to say, in terms of spirit of unity, and you may have a seat, sorry about that. We grew up in Park Hill.
Right.
Right on 35th and Eudora, back when Mud Deers was on the corner. Right. With your fish and cheese. And our grandparents is home. My dad still owns his home there in Park Hill, and our grandparents on 27th and Clayton, so very close to here. Our church, which is our father pastor's Rapture Missionary Baptist Church in Park Hill, works a lot often with the church right across the street here, which is, well, I'm spacing the name right now, Mount Sinai Baptist Church, amen. All right, so we're going to render one more song for you all. We are 3/4 of a group called Spirit of Grace, named after our grandmother, Grace Ella Dove Groves, who played at the New Hope Baptist Church. And so this song is in the spirit of unity, and it is for her as well.
And I like to just add, sorry, big sister moment. I just like to add that it's through us, our joining together, our unity, and not being ashamed or afraid to do those things that has kept us strong and kept us going. A lot of people think that they don't need their neighbors, they don't need the next person, they don't need the people up the street, but we need each other. And we testify that it had not been for God's faithfulness, we wouldn't have gotten this far.
For those of you guys who are just joining us, we are here at 3400
Great is thy
Elizabeth at the Hope
faithfulness, oh God, my
they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Summer and winter, springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above. Join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand has provided. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto Lord, unto
Yeah, they got standing ovation, folks.
Wow. All right. You guys kind of feel that?
Yeah. So, for those of you joining us, including the moderators,
if you don't mind, I want to ask.
we had an incident.
Ken and Devin.
House was painted on with the N-word
I
all
want to
over
ask
it.
them to come forward,
It was
and
nasty.
you know, as they come forward, I want you to imagine again what a family goes through when they see this type of imagery on their home. Just imagine if you woke up and you saw that. In our community, it's more than defacing property. This is like threats on someone's life, in my opinion, because some of you remember that a lot of death occurred based on spray painting on walls and crossing out names and doing all those different things. We've lived this for quite a while. And so, can we at least just give the family a round of applause or show some love, or, you know, what we wanted to do is the intention was to show there was some ugliness that took place, but we wanted you to see some beauty. We wanted you to know that we don't all think that way. And if you look, this is all background, professions, law enforcement, political figures, you know, leaders in the community, artists, dancers. I mean, if you look out here, you're going to see everybody. You see different shades, you see different hair texture, you see different culture, you see different neighborhoods. There are people, I can't even imagine who came here the furthest. You know, anybody come from outside of like Northeast Denver? Aurora? Anybody
Lakewood?
come further than Aurora? Thornton? Pueblo?
Whoa!
Pueblo? Where's Pueblo at? Pueblo? And I think there's going to be a gift from Pueblo, but I want to kind of let you all know that if you see the home or the area being smudged, don't record it, don't take pictures. It's a sacred moment. So if you happen to see that taking place,
Be
don't
there.
capture it electronically.
Amen.
Pam and Brian, can you stand, Pam and Brian? Where's Pam? Brian, come here for a second. You guys come up. Brian, come here for a second. I want to let you all know also in terms of community, we didn't do all this by ourselves. This is all collective. Everybody here put their hands in this. But I had asked, I said, would someone please just make some flyers and print some flyers and hit some doors? Hundreds of flyers were put out in the community by these two. And I think we should show our appreciation. Those flyers that you see, I mean, they just called. They just called and they just showed. And so what I want to do right now, because when I talked to you, Devin, early on, you said that you wanted this to be a teaching moment. And a lot of people were saying, why did you take it down? And I was looking at an article in the Denver Post. And what captured my attention the most was a quote by Councilman Brooks, where he had mentioned that this is happening almost monthly. Am I right, Councilman Brooks? I mean, were you misquoted? Okay. Had you taken it down, this would have went right back into the monthly numbers or those numbers. I didn't even know what was happening that frequently. I knew some of these things were happening, but until you said, I'm not taking mine down, it caused all of us to know that we've got some work to do. So I want to give you all the mic.
I'm a quiet, reserved person, so this is definitely out of my element here. I just want to first say I appreciate everybody. I mean, I never expected this. I was standing up for my family. As you see, I have 2 young black sons, and I stayed until about 2:30 in the morning and just went through my anger. Of course, I think would, but I have to think of him. I have to think of him, and I can't leave this for them. At some point, I have to teach them, and I can't leave them to I can't cover up my house, hide in my house, and wait for somebody to do something and make some changes. I have to teach my sons, and if I'm going to teach my sons, I feel like everybody had to know. If it's ugly, you have to talk about it. So I left this on my house with my kids in my house, and that was really hard to do. It was really hard to do, but I did it for all of you. I did it for everybody else. This is bigger than me.
Thank you.
I can paint my house. I can move on with my life at some point.
You are your brother's keeper, man.
Amen.
But if I didn't let this be bigger than me, and it wouldn't be heard, we all wouldn't be sitting here right now. So that's why I did it. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you all so much, though.
Thank you. Bless you.
What's very interesting is, talking with Devin, she grew up doing this work. When we talk about everybody in the community, healer, worker, you just never know when you're on the other side. So it's just kind of good to be able to hold you for all that you've done and hold this family. And we're going to continue to hold them up. Is that right?
Yes.
We're going to continue to hold them up. So wonderful round of applause once again for them. So Real quickly, I want to do something. Everybody who's elected or is running for office or doing all of that, could you come forward for just a quick second? Just come. We want to see who you are. And let's give them a round of applause. If you are an elected official, you're running for office.
How about the representative?
All of these individuals are either elected or they're running for office. And what I would really like for you to do is probably just say your name and what you're running for, or who you are, without any further remarks. But I would really like for you to listen to what's happening in this room, because we talked about what happened and we talked about some possible solutions as well. And it would be great for those of you who are in positions or are running for positions to be able to hear. So is that all right? Is that agreement? Just name and what you're running for.
Jesse Paris, East Denver native, and I'm running for city council at large, 2019. The election's in May. Get ready.
My name is Chairman Sekou, next mayor of City County of Denver, 2019. Born and raised here, and whoop, there it is.
Albus Brooks, City Council, District 9, this area right here, with 3 graduates of Hope Center in the back all day.
Shayla Richard, running for City Council, District 11. Shout out to my soror. Candy Sedebaka, East Sider, 5th generation, running for this district right here, District 9.
Paul Cashman, I'm running for re-election.
I've served in this community since 1988, off and on through different ranks, and now I'm the commander. If there's any questions, I'd like you to hold them to the end. For the Denver Police Department, what was done to this family is abhorrent. It's outrageous. It's everything that you can think of, every word that you want to say. For this family and those young kids, the message that we want to share. This message of love, this message of hope. Ms. Grimes and I have done a lot of things together, and the thing that I see every time that I see her is hope. That I was seeing the pictures out here with the field trip with the babies. Babies don't know how to hate. Babies don't know how to do anything except for love and play with each other and figure out how to do what needs to be done. They can build mountains. They can do everything. It's us. When we grow up, something happens to us. So, Brother Jeff, thank you for allowing us to be here. Yes. We are part of this community. Every officer that works for us in this Denver Police Department is behind you. And if there's anything that we can do to help support any of you, just let us know. But let me tell you, we are behind you. Okay. If I could bring up Matt Clark and his detective. They are with Matt Clark is the acting commander for the Major Crimes Division, and that unit has the Bias Motivated Crimes Unit assigned to the Domestic Violence Unit. If you want to talk about a little bit about what the Bias Motivated Crimes Unit does, and then we'll answer any questions that you guys have.
Detective Brian Mudloff, currently assigned to the Bias Motivated Unit with the Denver Police Department. We investigate all bias-motivated crimes, crimes based off of race, religion, sexual preference, national origin. If there's that kind of nexus to it, we investigate it. Thankfully, in Denver, it's not an insane amount. Any amount is more than what we like to see, but Denver is one of the few cities that has a bias-motivated unit, and we take that seriously. So any incidents like this, we follow up all of our leads. The department gives us all the resources that we can possibly handle, and we work with the community. And that's that's been great. So far in this case, we've had a lot of support from the community.
So, Matt, you want to talk a little bit about what the overall, like proactive stuff that the unit does?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Matt Clark. I'm just covering right now for Mark Chuck. He's a division commander. But the department takes a lot of steps as it relates to bias-motivated crimes. And regardless of the group that it's touching, the Black community, we see it with the Jewish community, the LGBTQ community, any community that's singled out, and a crime is committed against somebody to intimidate or harass them, they're a victim of a bias-motivated crime. So the department looks across the country, and we take a pulse and have a good sense of what's going on. So when we see a community being targeted, whether it's a religious facility, a community, or coming around some holidays for certain religious groups, we reach out to them. And it's not just the bias-motivated crime detectives. They work directly with the division commanders, with the community resource officers, with our citywide impact team. And those individuals are going out, they have the contacts, and we're sharing the information. We're getting information from those community leaders who going on and can feed the information to us so that we can be prepared and work cooperatively and with everybody to make sure everybody stays safe.
Does anybody have any questions, anything specific that we can answer?
Yes, ma'am.
So this feels like it goes beyond a hate crime because a hangman on your porch is a death threat.
Right.
And so I think that it should be treated that way.
Yep.
Is it being treated that way?
Yeah, it absolutely is. So any crime deserves the attention. Anytime anybody's victimized, they deserve the attention of the Denver Police Department. But I think they deserve special attention when we see a hate crime, something that's meant to intimidate, to strike fear, to threaten, as you've described, and we agree with that completely. So the bias-motivated crime, like Brian said, has the resources to do this, and this is getting their full attention right now.
Yes, sir. Albus had alluded a minute ago that this is happening on a monthly basis, and I would want to know, like, what is your rate of catching people that do this?
So there's different forms of bias-motivated crimes. There's assaults that occur, there's graffiti incidents that occur. I apologize, I can't give you a direct number right now to answer your question directly. We do have success in bringing these to closure, especially, when we have some of these assault cases. We follow all the leads that we can. We get the video, the forensic evidence, and when a crime can be put forward, we definitely move those forward.
But you are prosecuting some people for this, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
This isn't meant to bring anything down, but I've been experiencing this. You mentioned that this has been going on for a while. This picture was in my garage, inside. I'm a property owner and I rent out several properties. This nigger bitch family picture was in my garage by a tenant. I contacted the police department. They did a report and turned it in as not biased, possibly because the tenant was Hispanic. I'm Black, two minorities, probably no bias there. It was a white officer that filled it out. I then took this, pulled up that picture, and then all it took to court, going through the regular process of a civil trial and everything, and the district attorney decided that they weren't going to investigate because I did not actually see the person do this. However, the tenant was responsible for the property. So therefore, I felt it should have at least been an investigation because we knew who was responsible for that part. In this particular case, it's on the street. So anybody could have written that. But this was inside of my property, and still, I take that to court, and the judge determined it was irrelevant. So where does that leave me as a property owner that has had the same hate crime? And it is, I too did not take it down. It is still there, so you can still see it, investigate it. But my new tenants there just keep it covered up, but they have children. And they're looking at, Mommy, why is that there? Why do we have to keep it covered up? But as a property owner, Where does this leave me as far as the police department and the channels of where do you go and who do you get help from?
Extremely disturbing. I'm sorry that happened to you. And without looking into that more specifically, I can't tell you how it got resolved or handled. Well, clearly, and sometimes these are difficult cases. These individuals who engage in this type of behavior do it quickly. They do it under the skirt of darkness a lot of times. So some of these are difficult to solve. But
Again, she's in my house. They're being evicted, so.
So, as I told you today, when you showed me the pictures, we'll get it back to the unit and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
I am. And after I say this, I want everybody else to listen too, because we can really tell the truth up in here.
Uh-oh.
And then listen to that, and then tell me I'm lying. There is someone that's crucial missing here.
Oh, is that
And this ain't political. Where is the mayor of the city and county of Denver? He should be here, for real. Because he's the commander in chief and he's the boss of all these people up here. And they're getting their orders from the mayor, is that right? He tells her what he needs to do, what his expectations are, all right? And I'm telling you, we think that it's on them, and it's not. It's not. It's on us that allow that to happen where we got to call them. They should already know what kind of folks, what kind of neighbors we got, so they can be looking at that, looking forward to that, and then preventing the crime before it happens, not after the fact. But we got to help them. See, we got to get to know who's in our neighborhood now, because I don't know my neighbors no more. My neighbors have been gentrified out of this neighborhood. I don't know who you are. I don't. And so we got to do something here. It's real simple. It's real simple. Real simple. We got to learn how to speak again. Good morning, good afternoon. When I speak back. You can't do that.
It's
How
Chief
we gonna
Michael
have some
Hazen.
communication here? If you
How
can't
you
say
doing,
good morning,
sir?
good afternoon. Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you very much for what you do. And then when
Hi,
you don't
Candy.
do it,
Oh,
hey, it's easier for them to look at that man and say, hey,
it's a good
all right?
thing. They just yelling at the mayor for
They
that.
thank me for when I
I'm glad
do
you
right,
did it.
and they thank me when I'm doing wrong. Because I'm telling you right now, ain't no sense in talking about it. Ain't nobody in here want to do what they do. You got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. You got to really want to do this, man. I mean, for real. So, everybody take a breath of air and breathe, because we all right. We really are. Because now we're here. And now we got to stick and stay. No matter what. We got to have a no matter what love thing go down. For everybody in here and outside these rooms, and when you leave here, practice what you preach. Speak. Good evening. Good afternoon. Ain't nobody want no money. Ain't nobody ask you something. We need to acknowledge our humanity to each other. And if we can do that, then it ain't on them. It's on us. And this is about a we thing, not a me thing, because it's happening too much. Do y'all feel me?
Yes.
Am I lying?
No.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
And let the church say, yo, baby, yo.
Yo.
Make it play, brother, make it play.
Okay, so we got real questions coming up, huh?
I'm just curious, what's being done to protect the family? I mean, if this is a death threat, what are we doing to, protect Evan and her son?
Well, we are doing as many X patrols as I can. I have officers over there as much as I can. We have offered victims assistance to do some things with that family, but that's with the family. Okay, so we were over there today. We were the day after. We've been over there every day since this happened. Okay.
Can I speak for a moment?
Absolutely. I didn't give you a hug. I gave you my hug.
I agree with you. I don't blame these folks, either myself. I blame the legislation and the way these things are handled. Because I'm going to tell you, through my process of this, I don't get the help through the channels that I was supposed to. This could have been stopped before it happened. I know where it came from. I went through all the channels I was supposed to do, filed restraining orders, took in documentation, wasn't able to get any of that. It's an older lady, it's a younger black male, you know, assumptions. I got thrown out of court, no matter how much documentation I went in with. I've been police at my house 60 times in 4 months. For an egg?
How many?
For an egg. 60 times in 4 months they've been in my house since August 19th. It's been anywhere from an egg to he's got a firearm and he's threatening me. Now, as everybody in here knows, as a young black male in a predominantly black neighborhood with the shootings that are going on now, that's false reporting. That's very serious.
Right.
But this woman calls the police, says I have a firearm. The policeman will come up to me. The woman stating you have a firearm, but we know you don't. No big deal. No, that's serious. I told the officer that's serious. Why aren't you guys charging her? Or why aren't you guys doing anything about that? They blew that off. Now, if some cowboy shows up at my house, he's just got an itchy trigger finger. I walk outside to come smoke a cigarette. I got a lighter in my hand. I'm dead in front of my children now.
That's right.
This is the problem. I'm just telling you as a citizen, I've watched this happen over and over and over again. We all as a people always come together. We want the change.
Right.
We need the backup.
That's right.
Right.
And that's where you guys come in. That's where the city comes in. Because I'm gonna tell you now, I went through this for 6 months with this woman, with extreme harassment from this woman. And as everybody's seen, I have the boards up in front of my window. The judge has even seen that. They understood why that was up. This woman was video recorded in my house. And went to a blind eye. I didn't bring it with me, but I was served a restraining order 2 days ago from this woman, from your same courthouse. And it's in my hand still.
Injustice
You tell me how this works.
the Injustice
Another piece of funny part of this, and I'm sorry, because this is where
brother, wait a minute, hold up. Why do you have a restraining order when
Ask
your
me.
house was defaced?
Right.
and
There's
you
a death
victim
threat
of
on my
hate?
house. I would assume the
Why
city
you
would
can-
back me up in order
I don't know.
on them and protect my family.
Right. Exactly.
I have a death threat on my house
Right.
with no protection. You guys are offering. The police showed up at 9 o'clock at my house after the event. They came Saturday night when I called. 2 officers showed up. They took a couple pictures and left. They didn't even get a statement from me. To this day, you guys do not have a written statement from me. So no written statement. You guys don't take any evidence. Take some pictures and then they leave. And I'm saying you guys, I'm saying the officers, they leave, they take and they leave. Another sergeant shows up a half hour after that. I'm sorry, my guys messed up. They should have took this more serious. All he does is take the same pictures and he leaves. It took until people in my community were standing in front of my fence with their kids and Facebooking this out to everybody. All of a sudden, now I got 35 cops in front of my house. All of a sudden, because what? The Fox camera crews were behind them? I didn't even know that. I didn't want any of this. I just wanted this to be loud. Like, this can't go on. There's no way. I watch everybody come together all the time, and then I watch them get dropped by the city. There's no backup there. There's no equal playing field at all. Because if this happened in Cherry Creek or Cherry Hills, I feel that would have been done. It would have been done. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have it all on my video. They came to my house today. This is Friday, 5-6 days after this event. They come to my house and they take paint chip evidence from the paint. How come you guys wanted to paint my house first thing Sunday morning? 8 o'clock, they had about 40 cops at my house. There was a crime lab unit and a painting crew. Yeah, they wanted to paint my house that fast. But now they're collecting evidence today on that same paint that you guys wanted to cover. And you still don't have a statement from me.
And still no
He's stoic. He's stoic. It's the chief, folks. He's
Nobody
stoic.
knows about it.
We love him.
Nobody collected evidence. You guys are collecting this stuff today. You still don't have a statement from me. I've never seen it go out on the news, anything. You guys are looking for anybody, anything's going on.
And we know who did it, and she's still
It's, come on, I mean, it's plain as day.
explain yourself.
It can't be any more plain than day than what it is.
Breaking news, folks.
Anybody's been around my neighborhood or knows the story or knows about me or why those boards are there, understand why they're there. They know that Santa Claus face is sitting there. And it just so happens we got nigger noose, and we stop at that last board and we just scribble this face out. We go to right to my chair. This is somebody that knows me, and puts a noose right above my chair. That's so personal. That's a death threat. And I feel like this is just getting blown out of the water. If I never kept my signs up, we wouldn't be in here talking about it right now. I would have been another dog on the line. And that's how I feel.
is
And I
that
watch this happen constantly, and it's not just me, it's everybody.
Why is that procedure? Why is that okay? Why is
Hey,
that
I want
going
to hear
on?
the police explain this.
Chief's here.
That's what I wanna know.
Let him explain.
And I really didn't want to come in here with this tonight because I didn't want to take away from what was going on, but this is where it stops.
That's
For
right.
real.
This is where it stops. Because there's good people in here that try to go through the proper channels, like I'm hearing her and everybody
Right.
else that try to go through these proper channels to take care of things, and we get left off. But if my status, I'm sorry, or my skin color is different, I'm gonna get a little bit better, and I'm sorry to bring that into it, but that plays a play. That has came into effect every time I try to go through the channels.
Right.
I can't get it. For 6 months, 60 calls at my house
Explain
for an
yourself.
egg?
Explain yourselves.
You tell me that isn't harassment. I've asked the officers. I went to the police station. I went to the courthouse. I filed all the paperwork that they told me to do. And you guys kept empowering this woman to harass me more, basically to letting her know it's okay. Until now, I have this stuff on my house, and we know who it is, but I'm still looking at this woman across from my house, and she has a restraining order on me. And I video of her while she's on her way to the courthouse, with her camera up, recording me, flipping me off like she always does, baiting me to do something so she could take evidence down, because she's been empowered to do so. And that's why those people out there keep doing it, because they're empowered and allowed to do these things.
Oh, man.
If I know the crime I'm about to commit is gonna cost me a lot of years on it or something, they're gonna really consider what they're doing. But you guys don't back us. I see the community back me. I see everybody come together. But I'm watching you guys just like, yeah.
Why is that okay?
Let me paint over this. Oh, it's not painted now. It's, oh, there's all this news. Oh, HBO's at his house now. Let me go get some paint chips today. Do you guys have a statement from me at all on this case?
Mine happened in May.
No? I don't even have papers. And I know you guys didn't want to hear that, but I have a restraining order. You want to talk? Sell.
Don't say kink. Thank you.
So this isn't about,
There's cake.
this is about getting backup from where we're supposed to get our backup from. And that's the legislation, and you guys have power to be able to do something about these things. And when you guys don't do that, then you leave us hanging, and you leave people to have to, or not, I don't want to say to have to, but you leave people with the other option of taking care of it on their own.
Right.
And then now you guys gotta come arrest me.
Right.
Or arrest whoever it is because they acted out, because you guys wouldn't do anything.
Because you wouldn't.
And I have all the documentation, all the way back. And it all started because my wife was in an accident, parked her car in front of this woman's house. That petty started the whole thing. But I tried to stop it a long time ago, and nobody wanted to listen to me.
Why? So my thing is,
So here I am.
since he has that, what are you gonna do about it? And why is that even the procedure?
I gotta go to court May 19th. And then here's the thing is, every time I presented my case as far as restraining orders, I was able to show the call list, show all the documentation, all the stuff she's done to me. She goes in there and it's hearsay. She writes down something that she says I said, and the judge went, 2 days after this happened in my house, she has a restraining order on me. Now, it's just a piece of paper, but it lets me know where I stand with you guys.
Right.
Even with this going this big,
Right.
I know where I'm sitting. You guys are collecting evidence today.
A week later.
Chief, how does that make you feel?
How does this work?
Yeah, explain yourself.
So, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for the way, well, but here's what I'd like the takeaway to be. We are actively investigating this, and the fact that we're out there still collecting paint chips, we're still conducting neighborhood canvases, we're still collecting video from the flight path of the vehicle. This investigation is active. I know there's frustration that we haven't gone after the individual who you've
I'm giving your
identified.
detectives more information
Okay.
off my video surveillance and stuff that I had it installed the next morning.
I understand.
But I'm still giving them more surveillance towards what they're trying to find.
And this is the cooperation, this is a.
But you guys are picking up paint chips out of my house today.
I understand.
You guys wanted to paint it Sunday. So how you, we're collecting evidence and trying to find these things, but you wanted to shut it down instantly? Yeah.
So the investigation didn't want to shut it down initially. The city, we have a program, whenever there's graffiti, we do try and clean it up. But we weren't trying to shut it down or cover it up in any capacity. This is just something that we offer to somebody who's been this who's been victimized by that type of crime.
I know myself watching these things happen. If the same incident happened in the house in Cherry Hills, you guys would have got the paint chips that night. They would have had their little deal out there measuring the footprints, taking those before the snow filled them up. All that night.
All I can
The
tell you.
incident of, we're a week late, and you guys are already offered trying to paint my house. You guys have had city officials calling me every day. Are you guys about to paint it yet?
Because
You've been in
people are
enough work.
concerned about you. They're concerned about you and your family, and we want to make sure that we're
I'm
taking
concerned
care
about
of
you guys finding the person
Absolutely.
and letting people know that you care about
You're
them.
absolutely right, and we do, and that's to the end that Detective Mudloff and his partners are working at this point. We have to be careful that we don't go prematurely arrest somebody. We want to make, if somebody can be held accountable, we want to make sure it sticks.
That I understand, but why
And
are
so
you guys
I-
collecting that evidence to find that out firsthand? Why am I waiting a week now? Today, you guys are coming and picking.
Well, there may have been something
something
that's developed that the detectives have determined that they can now use that as evidence to hold somebody accountable. That's what they're working towards.
They didn't know that on Monday Sunday
I
morning.
can't answer that. All I can tell you is that we're moving the investigation forward. That's why we're here. We want to make sure, we encourage anybody who has information to call us, to call Crime Stoppers, do it anonymously. We want to hold somebody
You're ducking.
accountable.
I'm sorry, sir, but you're ducking because you guys handle these investigations completely different when they're in a different area or the status is different.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think we do.
You guys wouldn't come pick chips out of my house today when you guys were trying to paint over it the day after.
Okay. And paint chips on a fence are not something that we're typically collecting. He's talked, the detectives have had conversations. Because I don't have a written document, doesn't mean that we're not moving it forward and have information from you and your family.
When does it work that way?
All right, everybody, take a deep breath real quick. Okay. No, this is fine. Listen, this is a difficult situation.
Right.
And if you're not willing to go through the difficult process of getting to healing, then we might as well just paint over it. So
Right.
if this is making you uncomfortable, this is an uncomfortable situation. So what I want to do right now is it appropriate to have a statement taken? Is that appropriate procedure? Is that something that we could get done?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So with that being said, a round of applause or whatever you guys want to do for right now. What I want to do is bring forward the police chief. When we talk about leadership, I believe Chief Payne is that. And also grew up in community. Also is always there, at least when I call or text, and he's here now. So how do we move forward, Chief? What are you taking in? What are you processing? Where do we go from here?
Brother Jeff, thank you very much. You're exactly right. These are difficult conversations to have, but love beats hate, right? And that's what we focus on here tonight. We need to make sure that we do our job, right, and we will do our job. Our investigators, our team, our patrol officers are working exceptionally hard to hold somebody accountable for this. Now, I apologize that a statement wasn't taken the first night, okay? We will correct any of the errors along the way that took place, but our long-term goal is to hold somebody accountable for this. Whoever did this doesn't represent what our community is all about. Love beats hate. We need to make sure that we are vigilant, but not vigilantes, right? We need to look out for one another, our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, our entire community, to make sure that we are helping one another out, that we are there for one another in these ugly moments as well as moments of joy. When people are in need, then we are there to help each other, whether that person is in uniform or just your neighbor. Okay? That's how we get through this. That's how we overcome this hate that impacted our community. Now, we will pick up any pieces that were left behind, but I know that we are working very hard on this case. I have been updated on this case every single day since, to find out how the case is progressing, how the investigation is progressing. We have sent extra resources out, seen and unseen, in order to ensure that our community member, our brother, is safe. Our family is safe over there. And you have that commitment moving forward. I wish that we could have come tonight and said, we know who did it. This is the person. They were arrested at this moment. But we can't say that right now. But what I can tell you is that we are continuing, and we will continue until every lead is completely exhausted. That's our commitment. Now, our commitment goes deeper than that, right? Because after this incident, we still need to move forward as a city, as a community. We need to remember that love beats hate. That's how we're going to get through this.
Chief, a quick question. Have you seen an uptake in terms of, there's a lot more density in all of these neighborhoods. Are we seeing an uptake in some of these racially motivated incidents, particularly in Northeast Denver, or has it kind of been the same continuum in terms of the neighborhoods you grew up in and the city we grew up in? Should we be concerned in opening our eyes open from a broader perspective? Is something happening here?
So we are seeing more hate in our country, right? I mean, that's undeniable. We need to make sure that the people in this room, the people in this neighborhood, the people in this city don't get caught up in that hate, that we look out for one another. Last year, we had 55 incidents of bias-motivated crime. This year, through yesterday, it was the date that we pulled the crime stats, we were at 9. You multiply that out, we're on pace for the same, one incident fewer than what we're on pace for 54 compared to 55 last year. Now, what's important is that we do raise awareness about this, right? It's important that every single person knows what happened in our community. That way they can be on the lookout to ensure that this doesn't happen anymore. So yes, this additional attention and awareness is something that we want our community to transition that hate into love, that we start looking out for one another to ensure that instead of being on pace for 54 next year across the entire city, or the year that we're in, how can we work together to chip these away? So Chairman, we do have a question that had right before you, and then we'll go to you, Chairman. Is that okay?
Yeah, as a white woman sitting here, this gentleman
We had an N-word written all over our house.
dealing with this. I think for me, I was coming out of my skin.
It is
listening
Christmas,
to, and listen, this is nothing personal against any of you as individuals. I don't know you. But when you start talking about bias-motivated crimes, I'm over here like coming out of my skin thinking there's a huge elephant in the room and nobody's saying it. And that is that y'all have created this context. And I got, since what happens is Chairman Sekou is very generous, as are most people of color. I don't need to be generous because communities coming together and you guys really have to I invite you to get your shit in order. You are the kings and queens of bias-motivated crimes. Okay, and I
that's real.
respect is due. And I want you all to be a part of the community. I want to be a part of the community. And so I feel like it's, as a white woman, white people feel this way too. I don't know whether y'all actually hear it from people of color. And it just, like hearing that over and over, and the love over hate and all, come on.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to be flippant, I'm not trying to be smart.
Tell the truth from
You all have to get it together, right? Because the community is getting it together. And the community, as we know from 30 years ago, has power. 40 years ago, okay? That's my request. And I don't have a question because y'all always have the last word. I do want to say thank you to the chief for apologizing.
That's right.
Right.
You never hear that. You never
Right.
hear
She's right.
We need more white people like her. That's real.
There are a lot of them. I met
Chairman, you want to ask your question?
Like this young lady's back here.
Hold, there's another young lady, right? Where was she at? Right here? She wanted to say something, so give her a mic, Jeff.
I'm cool, I'm loud. I just have a question. So, I've noticed that what was your title again, sir? Officer?
Detective.
Detective, and you're over what category again?
Bias motivated unit.
Now, this is my only question. I see, from a black woman's perspective, I see a group of mostly white people looking at a mostly black and asking us questions about these crimes, and I just feel like all of us know the answer. Like, no offense to you at all, I'm sure you're a wonderful officer, I'm sure you do a great job, but you're studying like crimes that aren't happening in your community. So why don't we have someone who looks like us wondering about our crimes?
What?
Isn't that a fact So what does diversity look like in your police department also? Because it doesn't look like it's very diverse from what I've seen today.
Not only that, but as white people, we will never understand the pain that the black people go through.
No.
Never.
Never understand our plight.
What?
We agree.
Because part of my concern, I'm Topaz Pride, I represent the Greater Ministerial Alliance and Shopon Live, and I want to make sure, especially when I listen to the language, I want to make sure that this does not get reduced from a hate crime to something else. Criminal mischief, or anything other than what it is. This was a hate crime, and I'm not hearing that language, and that's disturbing to me. I also want to make sure that the victim's presentation does not get lost in the jargon of love versus hate. When I hear him saying that the system is broken, the system is broken.
The system is not broken.
And
It was
the system
designed
is broken when he makes these reports and nothing happens. It's broken, it's bias, it's racism, whatever you want to call it, but it's not working for our community. And I don't want that to get glossed over. We need to know that there is going to be action taken to address the fact that this family reported incidents over and over again, and they were minimized, they were ignored, they were set to the side, and then you have the neighbor who happens to be white, who goes and makes a report, and immediately there's a restraining order put in place. I have not heard anyone say, this is what we're going to do about that. I did hear you apologize for that. I don't hear anything that you're willing to do to address that specifically. The system has to change. People in this room need to feel like they can walk out of this room and know that they can be protected if they are victimized in this same way.
Charlie got a question back there.
So piggybacking on what Sister Topaz was talking about, it's you talking about how much we need love and how much we need to be brotherhood and all that. This community's had that. And we've been having this since I've been growing up. We're still having it with the people that's coming in now. It may be forced, but we're still attempting. The problem is, we don't see it from your end. We don't see the action behind it, but when something goes viral, when it gains enough attention for you to come out and speak to us about it, then we hear the song and dance about how we need to come together. It's an active investigation. You're looking into it. What we're looking for right now is what something Brother Jesse talks about. We need tangibles.
Tangibles.
Officers have to take the statements. If it's come to after he files his next statement, if it's shown that these officers refuse to take it and it's something that's credible that led to this, can we look forward to action being taken against them being reprimanded?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
That's a great question.
So we always look at our performance, and if we miss the mark, then I hold people accountable for missing the mark. And again, we can't lose sight of the long-term on this. The long-term goal is to identify the individual that caused this much harm to our community, right? It's one.
I understand, I'm sorry to interrupt, I truly understand that, that's a separate issue, and I don't wanna talk about that, because I understand on your part, it's an active investigation. We can't speak about that and get credible answers from you on that right now, because you're looking into it. So there's nothing we can.
It's more than looking into it. Let me make sure that we're clear on that. It's more than looking into it, okay? Looking into it is taking the report and then hoping that it's gonna magically solve itself. And that's not the case.
For several months now, isn't it what he just said has been happening to him? Yep. So we can speak about her right now, because we understand you're not gonna give us answers. But what we know is that there's something that's been wrongdoing under your watch, in your department, and we look forward to being, officers being.
I'm telling you that this is not a resolved case. This is an open investigation, that we need to let this investigation play out and hold the individual accountable for that. There was a part where we talked about vigilance without vigilantism, okay? There is a difference. We can be vigilant. We can make sure that we don't tolerate this type of activity, this type of behavior, this type of hate in our community, right? We don't want hate to create more hate. We need to look out for one another, and when it is time, so going back to the point, right? If we look backwards at the performance and we miss something, then that's our job to hold the department accountable for our actions, right? We don't want this to get out of control. We do not want to go down a path and then find out that it was someone completely different, right? That would be completely unfair. So that's what we need to just make sure. Give us some time. This is not a report that was taken, filed into a drawer, and us waiting for it to be magically solved.
I can wait for you guys to find the assailant. That's the
Okay.
problem here. The problem, I think you're missing what everybody else is saying as well.
You're
as what I told you,
criminalizing him.
is you guys, or the system is broke.
Right.
I went through the channels before this was even happening.
Like I-
That needs to be changed.
And now he got the restraining order, and he's
Right.
being criminalized.
That's
Correct.
what.
We wanna know what you're gonna
The
do about
community can
that.
come behind it. That's no problem.
I think it would just be really nice to live in a city, in a neighborhood, where if somebody does something against me as a human being, that there is somebody that I can call besides my cousins to fix them. And I do not feel that there is somebody that I can call in my neighborhood. I don't feel like there's somebody that I can call. Obviously, if the man has called 60 times in 20 minutes, and why have you failed us like this? That's what my problem is. I like you. You know I like you. Me and you are good. But my problem is the system keeps telling us, you need to call us when there's a problem. And so we do, and you don't do nothing. But if we go fix it ourselves, then we're in jail. So who's gonna fix it for us?
So good.
Who's on our side?
Good question. So right now, we're gonna disband this for just a moment and give yourselves a hand again for being here. And this is thank you to law enforcement. Thank you all. I'm gonna ask Doretta to come forward, and I can tell you what I'm hearing. My from seeing this on many times, Chief, and others. What you're seeing take place is usually when community comes together, this is one of the only opportunities they have to be heard collectively. Chief Hazen, real quick, I just want you to, I want you to hear this, because what happens is you're on the front lines. So you represent the system right now, even if it's parts of the system that you have no control over. The community usually does not have a place to vent their frustration. And so we could do this from now until next month. Easily. We can go black church right now, pass that collection plate 4 times, and church would not even have gotten started yet. These folks have not even gotten started yet.
Amen, brother.
No.
You know y'all haven't gotten started yet. And I say, okay, those running for office and those elected, we'd like for you to listen to the community. First thing, Sekou jumps up.
That's right.
Rightly so.
That's right, because I am in the community.
But what I'm saying is, There's a process. You can't tell them to break uphold the agreement if you don't uphold the agreement. I'm not talking to you in generally, but I'm just saying we got to do some. We got to do some of the things that we ask ourselves to do too.
Yeah.
Because if there was no law enforcement in here, we would still need to make sure hate is not running our communities. So I don't want to put all of the onus on law enforcement, although I know you have a job to do. But I know we have a job to do. So don't anybody, like those of you who are new to these community meetings, don't make this your last one. This is what it is. It can get uncomfortable, but I want you to work through the uncomfortable. Some people go quickly say, well, Brother Jeff shut down my venting session. Yeah, I did, because I got 30 into this session. You got 50 years listening to that session. 57 years. So my point being is this. Here's what I'm seeing. Elected officials who are listening and candidates who are listening. What you are seeing is the frustration of individuals who individually try to be heard and they're constantly not heard. Or they feel as though they're not being heard. Or they're being represented in systems that are not clear to them. And so when we get in these circles, it becomes a dumping session. All this energy should be placed on the ones that tagged up the building, because that's what this generates. It makes us fight each other, while whoever does this runs tickle pink, because we can't get our stuff together.
Might be sitting in here.
It might be sitting in here eating popcorn. So again, what I'd like to do, Doretta, Nathaniel, would you come forward for just a second? I don't know which direction y'all gonna take us in next, but there are two things. I want you to hear from a young person who is actively doing activism and is starting to line up the road that some of us have been on. I want you to hear from Elijah. I want you to hear what he's seeing in his community through his eyes. I want you to hear again from this dynamic duo, and we're going to wrap it up with our faith leaders and community. So if you represent a faith, I didn't say the Christian faith or the Muslim or whatever that faith is, and even the no faith, whatever. If you can stand here and say, I'm bringing something to give us some marching orders to move out with, that's your charge, Bishop Dimmer.
Can we do some voodoo?
And you can do it first.
We're gonna put some spells on somebody.
Well, I can tell you this. Voodoo is an African tradition that has been demonized. So those who are afraid of that, you know. And then I gotta ask quickly to the elder, Kojo, are we in good order right now?
I'd suggest we are, based on all of it's been said, all of it, everyone is listening to each other. So I see we're in good order.
Barbara, are we in good order?
We are in a space of understanding. So the order is put down, but we also need to be aware we need action.
Dr. Grimes, are we in good order?
We're in good order.
With that being said.
We want to get this.
Yeah, we need someone with a, see, this is a
This
new.
one works.
Oh, this one works? Ready?
I just want just kind of say, we're going to do a song. Brother Jeff told me that this was an event to encourage and to love. I believe in love. Love is basically conquers everything. And so I want you guys to know that I need you. I need you. I need you. I need everybody in this room. And once we realize that we need each other, things can happen. And this is what this song is called. It's called I Need You, You Need Me. We're all a part of God's body. And if you want to stand, you're welcome to stand. I was looking at this as being more of a unified type thing where we can, you know, just be unified. I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. Does anybody believe that today? Does anybody believe that today? Yes. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. My brother, my sister, you are important to me. I need you to survive. I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. Oh, I need you to survive. And those of you that know this song, I want to hear you just sing it out loud. Let's speak it into the atmosphere. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me.
Stand with me.
Agree with me.
Agree with me.
We're all a part of God's body. It is His will.
His will that every need be supplied.
You are important to me. I need you to survive.
Tell somebody, I won't harm you. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you to survive. Regardless of our color, creed, I pray for you. You pray for me. I love you. I need you. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you. Oh, I pray for you. You pray for me. I love you. I need you. I won't harm you. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you. Come on, say it again. I pray for you. You pray for me. I need you to tell somebody I won't harm with words from my mouth. I love you. Come on. 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 I love you. I need you. It is His will. It is His will that every need be. I need you to survive. Come on, look at somebody next to you and tell them, I need you to survive. Tell them, if you survive, I can survive. Yes. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
He actually listens to my complaints. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, that just happened. We pulled an Eric Grant moment.
Yeah. Y'all was trying to figure out how we was gonna work this out, huh?
Not at all, Jeff. It comes together.
Okay. Hey, y'all was trying to figure out how we was gonna work this all out.
No.
Let me tell you all something. Do me a favor. All the young people, all the little ones, bring them forward.
Yeah.
All the little ones, bring them forward. All the little ones, bring them forward. All the little, come on. Kids. Come on. Chief Payson, look at this real quick. All the little ones, come forward. Linda Donna, hold on. Put that up for a second. Yeah, just put that up for just a second. This ain't over. This ain't over. Y'all don't want to pay no attention to the little ones, and that's kind of one of our problems.
Come on.
One of our problems is you're having these side conversations, but you're missing the point. You're trying to save your own situation, but you're missing the future right here. You're taking this opportunity to do your own kind of thing, but you're missing. Isn't that the point?
That's right.
Isn't that what we continually miss? And then when our children go buck wild in the community, it's because we was handling something else. Your children, our future, is standing right in front of us, and we're handling something else. They're looking at us.
That's right.
They're watching us. They're seeing how we talk to each other. They're seeing how we conduct how we conduct our business. And they're either going to replicate it, or they're going to be ashamed to stand on our shoulders when we're no longer here.
Come on.
It may sound weird, it may sound strange, it may sound foreign, but the answer is love.
Right.
I don't know how we get there. That's the work. But don't poo-poo on the answer.
Right. Throw that baby out with that bathwater.
Y'all shouldn't have started singing them gospel songs, because we got to have church. But really, I know there's a lot of pain in here. I know there's a lot of solutions in here. You know, someone walked in and said, God told me to answer. Pour it out on the people. Pour it out in your house. Pour it out on your block. Pour it out on yourself. Because right now, what's standing in front of you is the reason I'm here.
Come on now, Jeff. Yes.
These young people deserve a community that is not tagged up,
Right.
is not deafed up,
Right.
and they're looking at us. It's our responsibility to create a world for the young people. It's not their responsibility to be adults for us. So let's not beat each other up. Remember we walked in the room, we said we're all pretty much on the same page because we wouldn't be in here? Let's get busy. What can we do? Well, we saw the hate on the building. I said, well, why don't we just bring some love to the building? Someone who put up some paint, you put up some paint too. Take some cookies, show some love. Don't let hate just stand still because it's stagnant like water. It will make you ill. Somebody.
Amen.
Look at these young people. They're counting on us. In this community, they're counting on us. And they're looking at us. And we're responsible. Shouldn't they be proud of us? When I asked the elders, I said, are we in good order? That's a part of our tradition. Because if the elders walk out of here disappointed with us, we're going to be in worse situations because we forgot how to respect the elders and do the work for the young people. This is why we're
I
here.
want to say something real quick.
Sure.
This is amazing because as far as I know, there's nothing like this in the white community.
Truth. Preach.
So,
it's true.
So everybody, don't jump on me about what didn't happen. I want to celebrate what did happen. I want to celebrate what did happen. Don't tell me about who didn't show up. I want to celebrate who did show up.
Jeff, I have one thing, our neighbor, this is my neighbor, me and her, we live across the street from them. And my neighbor asked, when is his court date so all of us can come to court? Right.
So that's a solution. The community can show up for the court date. We will put that out for a community. Another suggestion, Brother Taj gave, we said, we can all paint that house. They can get the chips and the investigation and all that, but at some point the house should be painted. Maybe that's a community task that we could take on. I think that is an outcome.
And maybe build them a privacy fence?
Build them a privacy fence or whatever. Listen, if there is a dispute between neighbors, I bet there's some medicine in here that can help work through that dispute. This doesn't even have to be one against the other. Somebody in here has the medicine that can touch somebody's heart and go talk to both sides.
I'm not going to go this afternoon. I want to get by.
Exactly. And so maybe, Francisco, maybe we can check on something like that. Because what's happening is you're setting up a dichotomy of, I don't like this one, I like this one, I like that one. Why don't we figure out what's wrong? And before we go, brothers, I'm going to show you something powerful. That's my wife right there.
Whoa.
Now, brothers, I'm going to show you. Putting some game down on y'all right now. Elijah, putting some game. I'm putting some game on you. There is a solution. My wife owns Whittier Cafe. Somebody put the N-word on the banister in front of the cafe. Y'all remember that? Why don't you talk about some of the solutions and some of the love and outpourings of community that came out of that act?
Babe, you know I don't like public speaking. Caught me right before I got out. Yeah, so many of you remember, well, first of all, my name's Meliti. Good to see you all. I own Whittier Cafe. Yeah, somebody, scribbled the N-word on our banister, and one of our regulars saw it and sent me a text message, and I was devastated. And my staff was in tears. They later came back and slashed tires. And we still don't know who did it, which is bizarre and strange and uncomfortable. But I gotta tell you, we're not afraid. And a lot of that is because of the community. And when I tell you, people came in droves to tell us that we are loved and wanted and needed. And Albus sent this big bouquet of flowers. Thank you for that. And different people in the community did, and they wrote notes and we sold out of everything in the shop in like 30 minutes. I mean, there were lines out the door. People waited for hours just to come in. And it was, of course, we have great coffee, but that's not why. They came to tell us that they loved us and that we were important and that, I believe that you are what you answer to, and we don't answer to that. But it was still hurtful that it was at our front door. But I'll tell you that we got through that with love. There were people in our community who came and replaced the tires for some of my employees. So we literally didn't even have a chance to feel the pain because everyone came around and just engulfed us. So it was a bizarre thing, but love wins.
That's a good story, but brothers, I put y'all up on some game if you're watching. Let y'all know. But as we get ready to depart this place, I want to bring forward to stand with the young people, Elijah. Many of you have been seeing Elijah doing a lot of work in the community, and perhaps you could give us some words of encouragement, where we go from here, or what's on your heart and mind.
Thank you. How's you guys doing today? Y'all doing all right? Yeah. That's what's up. So, first and foremost, I would like to thank Jeff Farr for inviting me and being able to speak in front of y'all. I also like to thank my father and my Israelite family for being able to even have me be here in this speaking position. So thank you very much. But, today we're going to address these unjust issues that are happening in Denver, Colorado. And we're not going to talk about typical racism or gentrification or the disenfranchisement of blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people. No, we're going to talk about unity, but a specific unity, our unity in our community. We can be upset about racism, blatant racism that knocks on our door, but why are we upset when we are perpetuating the racism in our communities? What are we doing when we're calling ourselves nigga and we out here separating ourselves in our own personal communities? We don't ever come together when you see blood killer or Crip killer, graffiti signs everywhere. Where's the news? Where's the news when we out there doing things like that? Yo, when police officers come and shoot us down in the block, no offense, but it's true. When we get shot down on the block by police officers, you see marches, rallies, change laws, us trying to be elected in positions of political power to be able to change this unjust system. But what about when Pookie kills Ray Ray down on the block? Where's the marches? What about that? Why aren't we out there doing that? Really, think about it. I'm gonna give y'all a second, think about it. What's the real reason why we ain't doing it for our own communities? Well, it's because we hold no self-value. We have no self-worth. When you see these black women specifically, because our black men ain't standing up the way they need to. But when we see these black women coming together, talking about these issues on live television and saying, police officers, they doing this to our children. We always are disappointed when the white people, I'm gonna just keep it 100%. Is that all right? Can I be honest with y'all? When the white man's doing this to us, we go ape wild. But when we do it to ourselves, we ain't doing nothing. We see themselves as Jesus. But now it's time to see us as the Messiah. It's time to see us as a form of value. It's time to see us in those positions. How do we do that? Well, I'll give you the solution. We could talk about the problem all day, but now it's time to talk about the solution. Majority of the people in here, black, Hispanic, Native American, and there's sprinkled white people. There's three key elements, especially in our communities as minorities. Here, can you hold this real second? Thank you, little man, I appreciate it. Three key elements. Native Americans, one amazing thing that they have is land. They have a lot of it. It's not the best land because, you know, white people don't give you the best stuff when you look different to them. But they got land. Hispanics, the key element that they have is unity. They can come off the border, have nothing, not even a name to themselves, and be able to rent out or buy like one building, and then you go there a couple years later, 5-10 years later, they own the entire store center, and it's all in Spanish words. They have amazing unity. When you go to the black community, we don't got unity. We don't got land, but there's one key element you can never take away from us. What is that? Voice. I don't care what's going on. Voice is the key element that we have in our community. We can express our opinion and not give a damn what anybody thinks. When it comes to things happening in our community, we the first people to say something. We have amazing influence. Now, think about that. The three key elements that all these minority communities all have in common: land, unity, and voice. That's a nation. You could build off of that. But we're not thinking like that. Why? Because we so busy depending on the white man to save us, we ain't knowing that we could save ourselves. Now I'm gonna leave y'all with my final thoughts. What is community? What is it? What is community?
Unity of people with common interests.
Common unity. It's common unity. Jesus is black, thank you.
All right, we're gonna get out. What I would like to do, Ken has one final word, and then
that was a hoot.
I saw Dr. Lisa Calderon.
Yeah.
There's Dr. Lisa Calderon. Give her some love. She's also running for mayor of the city of Denver. I need all of the faith leaders and Bishop Dimmer, the faith community, the faith community, Brother Taj. Is that Stephanie Rose Spalding? Colorado Springs is in the building. Come on, faith community. We're gonna. These are faith leaders. Our faith community is strong, and what I'd like to do is ask everyone to stand. Before we go into our faith closing, Ken has some words.
I'm talking over there.
I've given this a lot of thought. I've had a lot of offers since this has happened from the community, which I appreciate so much. I've never been looking to gain anything off of this in any way except for everybody to get knowledge and some awareness, people to change things. There's no way I could be comfortable in my house after this. I've been anyway, but I've been talking with my wife for a while about this since this incident happened, and I've turned down a lot of offers for people to do things to my house, and I think I would like to let people go ahead and come do siding, do fencing, whatever they want to do. They can promote their business up front. What I'd like to do is I'd like to let everybody wants to work on the house go ahead and they can post their stuff up front. I'd like to have something special done on the house in memory of it. And I'd like to take, I don't know, a chunk of money off of it, the house sells, and put it towards something that I know you will probably run with. Because I'm not that guy, I'm sorry, but I'm not. But you hold the torch well, and I'd like to put some money towards a good cause, something for this. Because this isn't about me. So if anybody wants to come together, siding, fencing, whatever anybody has, you're more than welcome.
He wanted to clean up the graffiti tomorrow, and he's asking for the neighborhood to come out and help. And anybody who wants to join us, you give us a time, and we'll be there. Again, you tell us what time.
Well, the painting I'm okay on. I'm gonna go ahead and cover up the, the blocks. There's a
How about we all come together?
There's a company coming on Monday.
Why don't we all come together?
Monday, what time?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock tomorrow.
There's a company coming Monday to paint the house. That's what I know.
Okay.
Through the victim resilience thing.
So what we gonna do
Okay.
tomorrow?
So,
But there's a lot of other work that can be done on the house if anybody would like to do and present their work, their business, promote their stuff. Please, I would like to put something nice on the house to be remembered by.
and if somebody wanted to come and paint over the imagery tomorrow, is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Like if somebody was in your yard on a roller, there's no problem?
I've had 3,000 people in my yard this week.
You all hear that?
So,
And-
you're more than
and-
welcome to come over.
And so those of you who are thinking about what's going to come out of this,
Time's the debate over.
look at, go to Fillmore, do something kind. I'm not going to tell you what to do because it's on your heart, whatever that is, but you have permission, okay? With that being said, Bishop Dimmer is the head of he's the newly elected president of the Greater Metro Denver Ministerial Alliance. And so what I'm going to ask is everybody grab a hand, somebody get a hand, and I'm going to ask you to step right there in the middle, right here, because I want you to do the closing words, the closing prayer on behalf of.
Oh man, you're really putting me to the screws today. I'm
Somebody.
gonna have to give you an elbow.
By the way, this is my brother, my biological brother right there, Marvin. Y'all probably never seen him, but he lives right across the alley. So I'm telling you, we are in these neighborhoods deep.
Yeah, we are.
We are in these neighborhoods deep. So this doesn't just impact one person, it impacts our entire community. So with that.
That's actually happening right now.
Thank you. As we get ready to have a couple of closing remarks and the closing prayer, can we just one more time put our hands together for Brother Jeff, that is always working in our community. He always shows up. He's at everything. Thank you, Brother Jeff, for the work that you do, that you put in. I certainly want to appreciate that young brother Elijah, I believe it was. Y'all laughed when he said Jesus is black, but y'all better do your research. And know who your seer he is.
All right, let's get serious about this prayer.
Whether he's white, green, he created everybody. All of us are one. Come on, somebody. But I think that's important because our young people don't understand when they look at different posters who we are. And we need to get who we are. Amen. Amen. Two scriptures, then let's pray. Revelation 7:9, John number, that no man can number of all races, kindreds, tongues, nations of people. It is not the time to be divided. It's the time for us to come together. That's the will of the Father. And then in the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, the Bible says that God looked down on the thing that was going on with Nimrod, and he said they was beginning to build a temple all the way up to the heavens. And he said, let's go down and see what's going on with them. We better scatter them around, because men now are one, and anything they put their minds to do, they can accomplish. So as I look out through this crowd, I see white holding hand, Spanish holding hand, black holding hand. Come on, somebody. Yeah. And that means anything we put our minds to do, we can accomplish it together. Somebody shout, we're better together. Now, Father, so we thank you for this gathering. We thank you for Brother Jeff. We thank you for community. We thank you because what the devil meant for evil is going to be flipped for the good. I pray for our community. I pray divine protection over our community. Angels be dispatched around our community. I bind death, I bind murder, and I speak life to this community. And then, God, we understand everything begins spiritually, and then it happens naturally. So we dispatch angels to fight on our behalf. And we thank you even right now, because what's going to come out of this is going to be life-changing, and people are going to see it in the mighty, matchless name of Yeshua HaMashiach the Christ. Amen, and amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're calling that a wrap. That's been a night. Thank you for coming.